Shit, it don't matter. I got words for everything.
Everybody got words. Welcome to this episode of Pay the Toll Boxing. I'm Foreman.
I'm twin.
And don't forget to shop for Thanks for Playing. Check out the shop, all the graphics from the guys and all of that. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to Champlain. I need to buy some more stuff because the sun is out, which means my legs are going to be out. The shorts
Oh,
are fire.
brother.
Shout out to those guys for sure. All right, bro. Friday night call. This is gonna be a crazy part series. I'm not making this all one episode. I want you to know that for sure. It's just not gonna happen. Because between talking about Friday, talking about Saturday, and then breaking down Sunday, we got it. You know what I'm saying? Between that, I don't know, my boy. That's gonna be a lot, wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Friday. Didn't like it.
All right. I mean,
Didn't like it.
the name potential was there. I totally get it. I'm as far as action wise, I totally get it.
Nah,
I'm
it
not
was
disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with nobody
it
on
it
that to
was
me. I think.
it wasn't just the action, it's the whole production. Like it took away from the boxing. Like you have you have fighters driving up in cars, and when they drive up in the cars, they just sit there for like shit. I think Ron sit there for almost a minute, minute and a half
He was
before they let him out the car.
in
Like
that dog Batmobile.
you know how high my anxiety would have been if I was them. Like I was like, get me out this damn car. Like
Nah, straight up though.
so you go through that, then you walk to the ring, and then you finally get in the ring. Like bro, then the product in the ring wasn't. It's just too much.
I
And
know.
the whole
It was. I get it. The idea of it. I'm not mad at the idea. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You still some things you just got to try to see. It didn't turn out the kind of way we thought we were hoping we were going to. Is they had the blinds up, fans couldn't watch it, so um, I
yeah,
get it. It did not turn out to. It did not turn out to what we wanted. So,
don't try to.
and well, they got Alcatraz next. Remember that. So that's another story.
That's gonna be.
But yeah, that might be. It's gonna be terrible. Um, but anything else you want to say before we kick this?
Nah.
All right. Friday, the start of the under or the three main cards. Teofimo and Arnold Barboza. Um, first off, I'm gotta eat my words for sure. Teofimo showed up 100%. He put on a masterful performance that he has shown against some talents before. He did a good job neutralizing Barboza's ability to step forward, throw punches, and come to him. He just did a fantastic job. I can't. There's nothing I can hate about that. He won the fight significantly. That's where I got.
Yeah. He it was okay to me. I give him like a B, and
Okay.
the reason because so it comes to a point where, in my opinion, if y'all gonna tout, and they can't do it no more, but if you're gonna tout this whole Four Kings era and stuff like that, at what point do you stop playing? Like he could have went at Barbosa
He
and,
wasn't there playing. I can give. He
and
did get
got him.
comfortable. I can agree there.
He could have got him out of there. But you play around and you showboat and play to the fans and all this stuff, and you tapping your feet like you can't in my opinion you can't get an A on their performance, and you doing that for like 30% of the fight. Like there's no way to give an A off of that. When he was boxing and he was doing and throwing his punches and countering, yes, that looked great. But as the rest of it, he could have left that alone. At some point, stop playing. Like let's
I
get the
agree. I agree. He's been leading up to this fight, with all the other previous fights before he got, before this fight was announced and all of that. He had been trying to keep himself in the limelight, trying to build himself as a villain superstar. The arguments he's had with Top Rank have been very it's been open onto the public, about the contract negotiations. He's trying to make himself a superstar to get himself into a big fight. Uh, the showman, he did the whole fight before where he was the showman, the leader of the ringleader of the circus, and all of that stuff like that. Um, I'm not, to me, I'm not necessarily excusing his antics in ring. But I understand why he did what he did as it related to Barboza, who he neutralized in every aspect of the fight. Barboza is a hard charger. I'm gonna just come to you, and he had Barboza sitting still, swinging and missing. So if I'm that comfortable and I realize I got you beat mentally after the rounds, I'm not saying it's right, but again, I'm gonna have some fun too. I'm gonna be tapping my feet, and there's nothing you could do about it.
Yeah, I mean that's more just my personal preference. Like I said, he was the best fighter on the card, so
Easy.
there's no contest. He was the best fighter on that card on Friday night. So I'm not trying to take away from him. I just would like to see him fight a whole way through a fight. Like just actually show up and try to get this man out of here if you can, and be serious the whole time. Because when you step up in competition, when you calling out boots, you're not about to be tapping your feet and shit versus him.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Stylistically, I don't think so. I don't think that that's the case at all. If he does try to go get boots, but I don't. I hope. I think Boots just got called for a mandatory too, so thankfully we ain't got to worry about that too much. At least right now, let's say that Boots, yeah, he got a mandatory, so we got to think about that. However, the other interesting piece, which we can get into after this, but he did his part in New York. He showed up, showed good combinations, the double jab to the head to the body, then the right hand came on top. He did a great job. Body shots were sneaking in on Barboza. He showed up. He 100, like the combination punching was there, the activity was there. He banked the rounds physically and he banked the rounds mentally from Barboza. And that's just damn near shutout. Um, so good credit to him. That's all I got. Here we
Yep.
go. All right. Second fight of the night. Something that has been highly criticized this weekend on social media, to where people are missing the point of the plot as it relates to the big picture of things. Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. That fight turned out like nobody expected that fight to turn out. And I think a lot of that has to do with our expectations of the fight. That may be part of the issue for what we wanted to see versus what the fighter and coach saw in the opponent across the ring from them. And they performed what they felt was the best plan to win the fight smartly and safely. Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez.
So at first I was more critical. Well, we were texting during the fight, and then I went back and watched some of it, and you right. There's more so the expectation, and I say that because before Devin moved up to 140,
Mm-hmm.
and before he fought Regis, he fought in a similar style to that how he fought Friday night. It was a lot of moving and picking his spots. It depended on the opponent, but when he got in
Right,
front,
depending on the opponent. Devin and his dad have had their magical ability to adapt to every single fight they fought.
Mhm.
Every one of their championship fights, they fought differently. Even the Camboses too. He fought Camboses one way the first time, and then the second way a different time.
Mhm.
You know, um,
We've seen that version or a version similar to that of Devin Haney, whether it was for a few rounds or it wasn't. I don't think I've ever seen him do a whole fight like that, but I've seen a
no,
few.
not a whole fight, but he did it even with Lomachenko as well. And
I've,
guess what? Lomachenko figured out
and
that we
Lomachenko was
we
in
gonna
that
get to we can get to the opponent at the next point later. Yeah, but
exactly.
yes.
So once I went back and thought about it, I think it's mainly because once he went up and he fought Regis,
Mhm.
and and he fought Regis the way he did, and his power was on display, a lot of people thought, okay, now this is Devin Haney growing into his power. This is the fighter that we're gonna get from now on.
Totally get it, but they're missing the eye. But then they're missing the point that where Regis sits flat, Regis drops his hands in
Mhm.
certain places. Regis has a habit of this. Regis has a habit of that. So I can fight this way against Regis because Regis does these things.
It's also, I hate, it's casual fan perspective. If
Hmm.
you if you line up Devin next to everybody that fought Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, he looks like the strongest fighter. He
Hmm.
looks physically like he would be the hardest puncher in the whole group.
Absolutely,
So that, I think that plays a part in it too. But
it does. It does. It plays a huge part into that. But he did what he needed to do to win that fight. That game plan, if anybody ain't had a chance, I did a whole. I hate doing breakdowns because I hate actually pointing out things, but I did enjoy pointing out the game plan because it was to me. I saw it kind of the first time. I said he's moving for a reason. It was the Shane Mosley movement. He's had Shane Mosley in his corner for this training camp. But Shane Mosley used to shuffle around the ring a lot. And once he got a little bit older, shuffling. Younger Shane's offensive mindset was different from Devin's. Younger Shane was not the naturally counterpuncher. Younger Shane was aggressive. That's what he was. So it looks different. Somebody is gonna do take some things of what you did and they're going to do it differently. I like my steak medium well, you might like yours medium. Does that make it disgusting? No, it's just how my preference of my steak. That's just what that was. um Devin did what he needed to do to get the job done, and that was win because he knew what he had after that fight. And he said, I got to get to the rematch. And guess what? He made Jose Ramirez never he made Jose Ramirez look as silly because Devin Haney stayed on plan A and never had to go to plan B for anything. Now, let's get into Jose Ramirez's action inside and lack of action. And I got to call Robert Garcia to the front for this too as well. Because once you saw that this was the plan, you know, hey, he's not going to bang with us, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to have to force him into a fight. And there was not one moment in that fight where I heard the rush from Robert Garcia, and I didn't hear Jose Ramirez say, hey, he's doing this. We got to change this up and go get him. So why is the criticism falling on Devin Haney for enacting his plan and no criticism for Jose Ramirez not adjusting his plan?
because Devin is the name, so Devin gets the criticism. I mean, other than that, I don't.
How do we look at Jose Ramirez's performance then?
It was
It
sad.
takes two to tango.
It was a poor performance. He didn't cut off the ring. That's his fault. And nobody says in boxing you need to go stand in the middle of the ring and trade punches and fight on the inside. That's not in the rule book. It's a
Correct.
big ring for a reason. You can move around the whole ring. So that's his fault. He should have cut off the ring. You can
Mm-hmm.
you can say Devin was running. Cool. Go catch him. That's part of boxing.
Part of boxing.
Is boxing is no different in one aspect than other sports. Lamar Jackson don't quarterback like Tom Brady. Tom Brady don't quarterback like Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning don't
Ooh,
Drew Brees.
I'm ready to get there. I'm so glad you
It,
got there.
it's not all the same. Everything does not have to look the same. It's no uniform to boxing outside of putting on your gloves and wearing your trunks.
The
And you
playbook is different for every team for a reason. Hey, I can't run that offense because I ain't got this personnel for this. Hey, we can't run that defense because that don't work against this. The same things applies to boxing. It just amazes me how all of a sudden people get stupid as it relates to them not understanding game plans are different for every fighter, the same way they're different for every basketball team, football team, soccer team. If they apply that same idea of no, they can't play them that way because they'll do this to understanding how boxing works, they will understand. Even the casual will understand boxing a little bit better. Past the past the fact of, well, we just want to see people go in there and fight and tuck it out. Okay, we saw the Patriots and them throw screens for forever and still win championships. Nobody said anything. The
Yeah.
Spurs and Popovich made it look boring, and they still won.
If you want to see that, then his opponent should have cut him off. We
Bingo.
saw we, and the funny thing, it's funny to me. Like Devin, Devin and his dad took the inside boxing, balled it up, and threw it away. Be
They
damn
said
fight
ain't
on
no
it.
point. Why we got to do that
Like,
today? What
if
we
you
got to do this? What we got to do this today for?
that's what it said on the paper. Be damn, we fight on the inside, and if you
And
want them to fight on the inside, then you got to catch them. Lomachenko.
if you come inside, here's this counter to catch that.
Exactly. And Lomo did the same thing. That when Devin started moving, when Devin started saying that he knows where I'm gonna be and he knows what I'm
He
trying to
know this left coming for this. He do it.
Lomachenko caught him and they was fighting on the inside. They was
Yep.
fighting mid range because he caught him, he had no choice.
Yep.
Friday night, he had plenty of choices. He just did what he wanted to do.
Simple as that. So Devin Haney enacted his plan perfectly, and Jose Ramirez did nothing to adjust to his plan. Robin Garcia, trainer of the year, rightfully so for the guys that he is. We're not taking that from him. But this was on him. This one falls on him because you have to be reasonable and logical with your guy. Hey man, you know what? We gotta switch this up, bro. You gotta do this. You can't set your feet because every time Devin punched, he watched Jose Ramirez set his feet every single time. And when Jose Ramirez tried to come in high and stand alone, Devin punched him in the middle of that or shuffled out of the way. He watched and studied that man's habits and used them against him. And nobody picked up on that, which means the film study and watching yourself was not done properly because every fighter, when they watch film, should not see what only they did right. They should say, how would I beat me? And that right there is what looks like did not happen for Robert Garcia and Jose Ramirez. All right, main event time for the Friday night card. Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero. Two things are multiple truth. Rolly Romero went into that training camp and them Ishmael Salas and them Cubans was working his ass in that training camp for sure. They did a fantastic job on Rolly. The game plan worked to keep Ryan still and break his confidence. That's one. Two, Ryan don't look like shit without that juice now. And can't nobody tell us different, right or wrong. Because you can't do the talking that you did over the year, literal whole year, and then come back and have a performance like that. You got in there with a man, you said, oh, it was just sparring, and I whooped him and all of that. And the gloves got lighter, that headgear came off, he sat you down, and it hurt you visibly more than Javante's first knockdown did. And from that point on, yeah, you fought. But you ain't fight with that same tenacity you was in there trying to fight Devin with. Where was that energy at? We missed the man who said, when I come back, I'm gonna do this and do that. You didn't hold up your end of the bargain to win the fight and get for the rematch. Now, Rolly is the new 147 WBA regular champ.
Hold on. Before we move to Rolling, let me talk about Ryan.
Got
Hey,
it?
that was a sad ass performance. That was sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no other way to put it. And I got words for some of y'all that want to talk about Derek James. I be damn. Don't put that shit on him. That ain't nothing to do with him.
He was pleading with Ryan in the corner. He
For
was
one,
100% telling Ryan to punch his arms, punch his shoulders, stop him
for,
from moving, do something.
for one, the one punch Ryan kept landing was his jab. That looked
He
like
did
a
land a jab.
Derek James jab. That looked just like Earl Spence jab. That looked like Charlo's jab. That came from him. For two, The advice he was getting in the corner was the best advice given all night in anybody's corner. Did he follow it? No. That ain't his fault. So don't go blaming the trainer because you saw what Ryan did. Ryan was okay, and got in there and did the same thing after round 2 every single round.
Or nothing.
He didn't want to get knocked out. You could tell. He didn't want to get popped again.
Yeah, after that first knockdown, it was it was a I ain't gonna say a ridden on Ryan, but the string was out. You know, for the string was out for Rolly. And Rolly did a good job of making sure that string stayed there. Because like we always say, I'd rather take a punch to the head than I take the punch to the body. And Rolly stabbed that boy's body all night long. All night long. And even then, threw and Rolly threw a hook to the body at a point while Ryan was snapping up, while Ryan was pulling out of the way. Completely threw me out of the way. I've never seen Rolly act like this before. So also credit to Ishmael Salas for taking somebody of Rolly's character and Rolly's ability and being able to make Rolly look the best that we've honestly ever seen Rolly look
Yeah,
in his whole career. You know, now albeit it was against Ryan Garcia in that style. However, Rolly got the win. Ishmael Salas got the win. That is a huge win for Cuban boxing, 100%,
universe.
because you know it got through. The messages got through.
Congrats to Rolly with his shit talking ass. I
That
mean,
boy can talk, can't he? That boy can talk.
hey man, the new champ at 147. What I said about 147 stands even more firm. I'm not gonna repeat. No, I'm repeat it right now. Now's not the time.
You
But
just been itching to say it, dog. That's all. You've been itching to say it. It's not the time right now because Devin is also in that division now too. So it's
yeah,
not the
but
time to say. Devin is in that division now too. It's not the
yeah,
time to say it.
though
Hmm?
he don't have a belt yet, so I can
He
still.
don't, but he's in the division. We're gonna count it for something. He's in the division.
I mean, well, they fought at 144, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
still 147.
yeah.
It's still 147. That don't change nothing.
I mean, yeah. Well, it still stands until
Ryan Garcia's performance.
after what's call it fight. But yeah, go ahead.
Ryan Garcia's performance. He
F.
he did not pull the trigger on he did not throw the amount of left hands. He didn't even throw the amount of the left hook specifically that we had gotten accustomed to see him throwing. He was not standing as aggressive. He was standing in front of Rolly, so I'm not gonna say he wasn't there, but he wasn't as aggressive with the punches as we've seen him before either.
It was.
So
It wasn't close to. It's a point when he fought Devin. It was a point I can't remember what round, but Devin caught him with a right, and Ryan got mad and started hitting his gloves
hitting his
together,
gloves.
and he started growling and stuff. What was that at? I wonder why. What's the difference? Wonder what happened. Hmm?
I don't know because now you can't. There's no accusation that Ryan can run from him. Hey, Bert, maybe you was just on the juice and you just got caught. You know, Paulie Malignaggi has been saying for years. Paulie had always been saying, I think this kid is juicing, and he pointed out, I think back at the Meduno fight. When Ryan hit that boy at the top of the head, the left hook, but nobody saw. He was like, "Man, I think." Granted, it was fast for sure, so it did happen. But Paulie had called it out and said, "I think the kid is all now juicing all of a sudden because that left hand wasn't like it was good, but it wasn't like that." So Paulie's always called it. Now it's hard to tell people that the Osterin was not uh was not the reason that he did put Devin Haney down. It's hard to say that
Mm,
because you went out there and had that performance and got nothing. No lack of energy, lack of rush. You know, you wouldn't listen. You were frustrated. What was it?
I don't know. That was a sad main event.
It was. So, um, Turkey, you tried for sure to have something unique. I understand. I appreciate it for trying something unique. Overall, as far as the fan experience, the outside fan experience, if you're gonna have an outside, it needs to still be an outside stadium. These are the things, the reasons why it needs to be an outside stadium. I love outside fights, but stadiums are necessary in boxing for a reason.
And I give Turkey an A for effort for trying a new thing, but you can't take the fans out of boxing simply because fans change boxing.
They
You
do.
know better than me. At some point in a fight, fans chanting something, you hear something, you start booed at one point, and start wanting to throw more because you're getting booed now. Like
Mhm.
all of that stuff matters, and you take that out of a boxing event, it's just like
Yeah,
kind of
you
a,
had
a
you
puff.
had everybody in there who were boxers themselves or your VIP. None of those people are going to boo, especially the fighters that are in there. Why? Because they're fighters and they're looking at the art form in the same aspect that I am. Not every fan or every enthusiast or whatever, but fighters are looking at it from the fighter's standpoint. So to them, they're looking at that. They're not looking at entertainment value. So you're not gonna get the usual cheers and boos and all of that. It just is what it is. So again, like you said, A for effort, D for execution. All right, Saturday night in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Another Fatal Fury card from the weekend. Um, so let's the undercard before we get into the idea of the main event. So Martin Bacoli and F.A. Ajagba had a fight. They 100% screwed F.A. Ajagba out of a win. He controlled when he was going to fight. He had Ajagba at this. I mean, he had Bacoli at distance. He gave up rounds 4 and 8 specifically when he let Bacoli come in, try some punches on the inside. Ajagba was in complete control. Simple.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else to add to that?
The refs got it wrong, but
Yeah, they screwed that man terribly on that one, and I really do hate that. I hate that for him because he won a fight. Um, Badou the Jack the Ripper returned, and my boy finally got him a belt. My boy got him a belt at Cruiserweight. It took him all his time. They tried to age him out, and he got him a belt, man. So
mm-hmm.
shout out to Jack the Ripper for coming back and getting him somewhere. Now, is he 41 years old? For sure. How does he stack up with overtime?
He don't
Ooh,
respectfully.
I think he can work with Zerto though. I think Zerto's slow. Zerto's heavy, wide swinging and beat them feet don't move. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I mean,
I
maybe
see.
I see more there than I see more hope in that fight than the first one you mentioned.
He might be overtime by murder. Jaime Mugia decided to hold his hand still. Uh, oh man,
Hey,
what? I
but
mean, shout
my
out to Eddie Reynoso teaching us some defense, but what?
my boy showed up a new man.
That boy was shook, wasn't
Yeah, he ain't want that again.
he? Oof. Hey, I was just aside. Bruno Ross is sharp. I was like, don't get me wrong, Munguia won that fight for sure, but hey, Bruno Ross is sharp. He threw some right hands, some short right uppers, some straight right. I want to see him again. I want to see Saras still again. Yeah,
Mhm.
I want to see that. And I'm pretty sure somebody else wants to see it again too.
And guess what? Isn't that my man with the day job?
My man got a day job. My man does got a day job.
Yeah, all them jokes about Padme and shit.
My man's got a day job. All right, the main event of that card: Saul Canelo Alvarez versus William Scull. Um, Now, same kind of fighters, Jose Ramirez and Devin Haney. However, Devin Haney is getting criticized while Canelo Alvarez gets the benefit. What's the difference here?
Is who was moving and who wasn't.
Mm.
And this one, Canelo's opponent was the one moving, and the other fight, Haney was the one moving. So once you see once any casual eyes or eyes in general get on a boxing match, the one that's doing all the movement is gonna get called the runner. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's not forget Floyd was called a runner. Like, they might revise history now, but a lot of people used to say he ran, and look how they talk about him now. So that was the main difference. But that was an awful fight.
It
Oh, that was
was an awful fight. However, I had Skull winning more rounds than people think. That one judge that had it 115, 113, hey, hear me out. Hear me out. I'll post that video. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it.
so.
I'm gonna post it.
I think we differ in this part.
Probably. I can understand why we differ too.
My boy Skull, that was awful to me.
It was.
I understand the style he was going for. I understand what he's doing.
That's his
But
style.
that is. But everybody and their mama knew yesterday, last week, last month, last year, 5 years ago, and 10 years ago, you not beating Canelo on the cards fighting like that. Like,
This this is the multiple things true moment. Okay.
you know it was 0% chance fighting like that you would beat Canelo on the cards doing that.
Agreed.
The other thing about it is so when they did exchange, like, the harder memorable shots were Canelo's.
Were the harder memorable shots Canelo's because you've been watching Canelo, or was that really the case?
Nah, that was really the case.
Okay.
Like, Skull got in, he did, but the harder memorable shots were Canelo. So now that he's doing that and dancing around, like, two things can be true. Was he quote unquote running? Yes. Should Canelo have cut off the ring? Yes. Those both of those are true. So the ugly ass fight that we watched that was sucked to me, that was half Canelo fault and half Skull fault. So it ain't just all on one to me. And only reason I say it's Skull fault is because if you're going for glory, you're going for undisputed, you're going to beat one of the all-time greats, at some point you got to put it on the line. You can't just run around there smiling and shit and giggling in between rounds like you there just to have a good time. Are you trying to take this man belts or not? Are you trying to be undisputed or not? Are you willing to go in there and get dirty and grimy and go for it all or not? And he wasn't. Then that's my problem with him. Not necessarily his style, but who you fighting, the time you're fighting him, and what you already know the results are going to be when just because you're fighting this guy. If Canelo didn't have a name, he probably would have won. Depending on the judges, it would have been close, but he probably would have won. But fighting Canelo, no. That's why I think we were texting in between, and I think you said something like you had Skull winning. I think it was like the fourth or fifth round.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say nothing, and I specifically didn't because I said I was like, hell, I ain't got nobody winning because he ain't gonna beat Canelo fighting like this, so it don't matter.
Oh, I knew that. That's the thing about it. Yes, I had Skull winning after those first 5 rounds. Absolutely. I also knew while I was scoring, just because I was scoring it that way, that's just my scorecard. Do I know that he's not going to get the benefit because the judges may not know the same way, or they don't care about boxing the same way I do? That is also true. I know that. So I don't let that emotionally get attached. I don't get attached emotionally. You've seen me on different scorecards. I'll tell you exactly what I say a scorecard is on one way, on for me, and then I'll tell you exactly what the judges' scorecards are going to say. I've always been able to toe that line very easily on my personal opinion and what the judges are going to say. I have a damn good moment to go for that. And I'm proud. I can say I'm proud of that. And you know it, and anybody else that's seen me end up watching it knows for sure I told that perfectly because I see it one way and I know what's going to happen. It just is what it is. But that comes from knowing both sides of the coin. I knew Skull was not going to get a decision unless he went out there and did what Bivol did. And even then, the judges had it tight still for Canelo, and that was an 8-4 wash. So
Type,
guess what? I
type
know that,
punches.
and I knew that. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, all right, cool. Like, yeah, he won to me, but I know what he's not gonna get, and that's not gonna get the benefit, and that's cool. So I think you hit it on the head with everything else. 5 times, 5 different ways. Nakano, you can come back to America whenever you're ready, my boy. You know what? Somebody made a great point. It was Evan Coleman of Top Rank, the media. Whenever Tyken produces a fighter to the Americas, you got to automatically understand that they can fight. And Nakano went out there and showed naked ass. He said, "We're in America? Awesome." And decided to put Pedro down 5 times, 5 different ways in one fight. Say,
Crazy.
Emiliano had a tough little go at it at first with Leon. The general showed up.
Hey man. Hey, Emiliano, keep doing your thing, baby. You young in the game. You ain't no time to rush. You don't need to jump to no big ass competition gap or none of that. Man, keep doing your thing, man.
Keep building. Let Top Rank do what they do. They are the best in the business for a. You don't make it as long as Bob Arum and Top Rank have without knowing how to do this. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. They know what they're doing. Let them do their job. Please keep building. You're 21 years old. Grow into everything you're gonna grow into, and then we'll worry about the rest of that later. Um, Espinoza, 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 Espinoza. The 6'1", 126-pound
That
champ.
boy walking in there looking like Gumby, throwing uppercuts and hooks and jabs. Oh man, that boy make for an exciting fight. Cause you can come in and get some if you can get past all that
If
shit.
you can get past it, come
If
get it if you want it. You got to get there first, homeboy.
but
It's a
you
lot.
gonna pay to get in, or you gonna pay on your way out.
Choose which one you want.
That boy tough.
That boy, that boy built that. That boy built like that.
Hey man, that 126 might be my favorite.
It's coming. They pushing up on it. I mean,
Hmm?
Steven Fulton finna leave, but in a way, he's looking at it. He looking at it. So we'll see what he got. Let me go ahead and end this early. The main event on Sunday night, who people have deemed saved boxing from a horrendous weekend. Naoya Inoue and my man, young San Antonio Cardenas. First off, bravo, man, for a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic night of boxing by capping off our boxing weekend with that main event from both of you. Shout out to both of y'all. Cardenas, I'm so proud and happy for you, my boy. I hope your family in San Antonio is super proud of you for going out there and displaying your heart, your will, the same way you did, bro. Shout out to you for sure. Shout out to he was a former Lyft driver, also everyday working man. So we gotta, we like to call it straight. My man's did what he needed to do to get the job done.
Yeah, let me throw in my apology because I for
Yeah,
sure I for sure had you
We
leaving.
said 5 though. We did say 5.
Oh, no, I said 3. You said 5.
Oh, I did say 5. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. And you almost got him out of there in 2.
I almost. It was close. It was close. It was rough. It
But
was
yeah,
rough.
hey man, that man they called a monster. He a little bit different, man.
He is
A little
different. He
different.
had the ability to back away, and he didn't. So now, let's get into the meat of that, though. The thing is now we have seen in more than a few fights now keep counting in a way get caught with that left hook as he drops his right hand. He's always had these defensive measures that have always lacked at points. How long can he keep that going?
You don't want to keep putting your chin to the test like that. Now, when you keep getting put down, because
He's 33 years old, 32, 33 years old.
eventually you keep getting put down, you're gonna get put out with the same thing that's putting you down. So, I,
Yeah.
th- I think that I don't think they necessarily was pressing for any changes the last time he got caught with it, but now seeing it happen again, I think they'll make the changes. And his offensive bag is so deep, they can make that kind of changes.
Yeah. They gotta, but they, you know, not just obviously him and his dad have done a great job to this point, so I can't criticize because you don't earn the worldwide respect that he has earned being from Japan. You know, we've never seen nobody from Japan, but we've seen great fighters from Japan, but we've never seen nobody perform the way that he has coming up from 108 all the way to this point. I'm gonna pull back up this tweet that I responded to yesterday from this person right here, where they was talking about Inoue looks huge, he's a weight bully. Hey, I never knew a man that came up from 108 could be a weight bully. I never ever knew that. Never knew it. But the man, he's admitted himself. You know, I'm testing my body out to see how far I can push it. You can tell he has an attitude. If he spoke English, I guarantee you he might be the funniest. He
Oh,
might be one of the most funny boxers that we can get.
I
And
know
he'd also be one of the realest too.
I know he got some profanity in there, and I'd like to hear it. Just
I,
like Canelo. When Canelo first started speaking English,
it was up. It was up. When he first started to when he got better at it, oh, it's up, damn. Oh, it's up. You can absolutely tell for sure. So
hmm
I know if he could get it out, he would 100%. Um, I'm just saying which one of y'all gonna whoop me. You can tell that's his demeanor. He fights with that demeanor. He fights with the demeanor of somebody saying, "You gonna have to put me out." The Marvin Hagler demeanor. That's kind of he's nicer outside of the ring than Marvin Hagler was. It was notorious that Marvin Hagler was just a rough dude. It is what it was. But however, his meanness is Marvin Hagler. Like, I'm in front of you, bro. Come prove it then. Come take me out. When Cardenas put him down in the second round, he didn't. The third round. It was at the end of the round, but he sat on the canvas, looked at the referee, stood up, looked at Cardenas, squared up, right back over again. Third round comes in, he stood right back in front of him. Let's go. You're gonna have to kill me in order to take this from me. And he did. He fought with everything. He had the body punches from that point. Oh, the shoulder punches. Just everything.
hmm
So shout out to Naoya anyway. Are we still looking for the Junto match? Or who are we looking for?
I don't know. Just because he's at 122, and
Junto's still at 18, so it's kind of like,
and I kind of feel like when you playing like Madden or something, you keep holding down turbo and then it start blinking. I feel like 122 is him blinking, and he go to 126 is like him at 122 reminds me, I guess, for comparison's sake, of maybe like Floyd. And I just pull his name because most people know that. And Floyd at 147 was smarter, but he wasn't better than he was at 30 or 35, to me.
I can agree there.
He
I can
wasn't
agree with
Pretty Boy. Pretty Boy was the best version of Floyd.
that. Pretty boy, 135, boy, that was a whole different monster right there. I would have loved to see him and Durant at 35 together, at 30 together too. I
Right.
would love to see that.
So this version of Inoue is still great, still fun to watch, but it's not the best version of him. His best version was at a lower weight class than he.
In that Super Six tournament when he was sleeping everybody going through there. And then the narrative finale. So yeah.
So
I can agree with that.
I think it's to the point to where whatever he want to do, I'm fine with. If he want to go up and test at 126 and see,
Yeah.
cool. Stay at 122, cool. If somebody want to come up and try to do a catch weight or whatever, I mean, it
Yeah,
ain't like
I'm with all of that. I'm with everything that he wants to do at this point because he's given us so much to this point. If he says, you know what, y'all, I'm gonna go home now. I'm also not mad at that. What how much he's from 108 to 122. What else is there for him to compete for at 32, 33 years old?
I
Besides just a big Japan showdown with Nakatani. That's the only reason that they won it. They are trying to make it for a Japan showdown. And while I totally get it, what does that prove still in the grand scheme of things though?
I think he is the
Is it a career pushing fight? Let's say that.
maybe not for him.
You see what I'm saying?
Not for
Like,
him.
don't get me wrong, it's exciting for me to think about, but give me Nakatani and Bam, and then we could talk about it something. Then
There you go.
now that is a fight that I would love to see.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Nakatani and Bam, I'm cool with that. But
Yeah.
trying to force the Inoue thing, it is what it is.
I think I think in a way is the reverse of the issue that we have with a lot of these fighters. And what I mean by that is I actually think in a way need to not fight once. He need to remove one of the fights off the schedule. If he since he's went up to 122, which is the highest weight class he's been in, he basically fights 4 times a year. He need to move that down to
He
two or
has been fighting. He has been active.
it's like the when he was in his prime weight class, cool. But now that he's going up to 22 or might go to 26, he don't need to fight 4 times.
Slow your body down. I mean, you at the end, you at the tail end anyway.
And at that age, I think he needs to dial back. Two, maybe 3 times is cool, but damn near 4 times a year.
Yeah, tail end anyway. Yeah, I can agree there. I can agree there too. And that's not, and and that may be going against the narrative or the agenda or whatever. But I've seen enough, and I'm thankful for what I've seen. So, same way as Usyk. Like if Usyk decides to just after if he beats Dubois again and he goes home, cool. Like, like, cool, bro. Appreciate it. Like straight up. That's all I got. So, same thing.
I mean, we at that point with a lot of fighters. Hell, if
Yeah.
Bud be Canelo, man, what you doing
What
here?
you gonna do? Go home. Go home. Like there's nothing else to do here. Go home. Go home. Cause you're not gonna stay at 168. You're not gonna fight them other big cats. You're not gonna do it. So go home. So yeah.
Unless he do 160. No, don't get me
Nah.
started.
He said he can get 160. He did say it.
I mean, looking at 160, I
He
believe.
could. I do too. All right. With that being said, that concludes this long ass episode of Pay the Toll and Boxing because this episode was long as hell.
Mm.
Once again, I am Foreman,
I am Twin.
and we're gonna have to do another recording again this week because we got Erickson Lubin and that Pro Box card May 10th this Saturday evening down there in Florida, which should be a very exciting card. So stay tuned. We'll probably drop another episode Friday so you can have your gamblers bet ready. Whoop-de-doo. Other than that, y'all see y'all later. Pay the toll, boy.